Well, here it is. It's our 2015 Toyo 4Runner Trail Edition that we bought 5 years ago. It's been a great family wagon, but now it's time to build it up at OK 4-Wheel Drive and put it on Outdoorsy.com for you to rent it. So we put a lot of thought into this, and simplicity was the focus of this build. So we focused on 7 primary areas to keep this build simple and to keep our price point pretty low. The truck's already paid for it, and we didn't want to put a lot of money in the investment on this vehicle until we knew how it would rent. I think we're gonna work on Goose Gear first. We're gonna get that storage kind of lined out because we need to mark some places where we're gonna drill to mount the fridge. We've got an ARB Elements fridge freezer that I used in, I guess, 2 Tacomas ago when I built. And so it's been sitting in my garage keeping my beer cold for about 1.5 years, and now we're gonna put it to work. Yeah, so we're actually gonna be taking this kind of tie down bracket off first. We're gonna take a little bit of plastic out, and I think we're taking the carpet out to mount the base plate in for Goose Gear. One Cheerio, considering I have a 6-year-old, and there's been a lot of Cheerios consumed in here.
There's never one Cheerio.
We let there's one under there, I see one. I think that might be like a Panda Puff. The fridge is gonna sit over here on the driver's side, and our Goose Gear drawer module is gonna be over here on the passenger side. Base plate is going in now. Perfect.
We just gotta line this bugger up. I think in the rear, you gotta, the bracket that goes from side to side is probably in that envelope. These are the mounting plates for the Goose Gear system. So they'll go through the plate into these PEV nuts. Since there's no hardware here, it transfers the load over to the factory mounting point over there.
1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I need to actually get set up because I'm gonna hop on the phone with Outdoorsy, talk to them a little bit so we can understand more about what's involved with actually renting a truck. But I am taking out our Goose Gear drawer unit. We're kind of focused on aesthetics of this vehicle as well. We want it to look nice, just like all of us want all of our trucks to look nice. This is gonna look real nice mounted in the back of the truck.
What I'm thinking is you got power on that side already. So if we put it right below that.
Like right here?
No. On that vertical wall, that little cigarette, this for the ciggies, and that little switch.
Oh, you're talking about the switch?
Yeah.
On Gabby's truck, we had the fuse panel mounted right here with just Velcro on the back of it.
Huh.
Now, I'm not saying that's the best place in the world for it, but it's never been a problem.
Right here might be pretty good.
It could, but you're gonna have to push all the wire through all that and everything.
True.
Is that a big deal? What about on the back of the Goose Gear box? Because you could never take the Goose Gear out though. We were just kind of working through some solutions for the fuse block. I want all of the details of all of this not to be hidden, but not to be exposed so that people aren't accidentally bumping wires. But ultimately, like Ren said, the fuse block needs to be accessible in case somebody blows a fuse on the road, and I can talk to them on the phone and tell them what to fix.
I think keep the wires on the outside of it, but I think mount the fuse block right to the back side.
Yeah. Okay, I got you what you're saying.
Just for hardware reasons, go through it. And then everything else we can cable tie really nicely. So it'll kind of be like Gabby's where it's under the seat, but it'll be on the, between
on the back side. Do we need to look at it to see if there's clearance? It's got to be because the 4Runner seats are angled like that, so there's going to be room in that pocket.
If somebody has a problem, you can just be like, yeah, flip the seat down.
Flip the seat down and check your fuses.
Yep.
Cool. I like it.
Cool. Yeah, we got room behind it. You can see the wedge.
Oh yeah, totally.
So we just mount it low. Keep it low. We can run the wires right under the board. You can't hit it. You can't run into it like with doing stupid shit, but you can get to it.
It's easy accessible.
Yeah.
Less drilling underneath and removing less plastic. I think it's kind of accomplishing everything we want.
Yeah, less modifying the vehicle.
Okay, let's do it.
Right on.
Still moving along here. Ren's already drilled where we're going to be putting the fuse block.
It'll keep it hidden, but still accessible, but nobody will be bumping into it in the back of the truck with their gear. Rental proof.
Rental proof. Under the hood, we're going to be managing all of the power and the charging for the vehicle with a dual battery system. We're going to use the stock 4Runner battery, and then we're going to mount a Group 34R Odyssey Extreme battery in a Rago Fabrications battery tray up against the firewall. We're going to manage the charging of these two batteries with a REDARC BCDC charger, and we're going to be putting a Sunflare solar panel on top of the rooftop tent a little bit later. I'm actually going to start mounting the tray, the battery tray for the secondary battery. Looks pretty straightforward, so we're going to get that knocked out and focus on some wiring. First step is pulling the air box apart.
Hey Jason.
Yes, sir.
Powering this, and what else?
I was thinking we'd actually dedicate the 12 volt to an ARB plug, ARB style plug.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to tie one of these up with the fridge, or if you wanted to just run the fridge right to that. It's pretty dang easy to do.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna have it back there, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you don't even need to waste these.
Let's just run it straight to the fuse panel like you said.
Because then we could just run the fridge, literally I can take the SIG plug off, put it right to the fuse block.
I think that's great.
Then there's no BS, no coming loose, nothing.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, step by step, getting the top of this air box off. Our buddy Chris Johnson's here living in a van. He's instructed us that he's very busy building a YouTube video today, but he will drink beer with us tonight. So be spending some time with Chris. You know, it's good to come back and get all these faces together once or twice a year if that's the best we can do. Last year sucked. And this year isn't shaping up to be too much better, but make what you can of it. It should come out like so. So we've got a lot of experience building vehicles, but what we don't have experience with is renting them. So we contacted Evan at Outdoorsy.com to answer some of our questions for us.
I think it was about 2014, 2015, our founders, Jeff and Jen, who already knew each other, are sitting in a meeting and we're just sort of tired of it. So as they started to think about it, they sold their homes, bought a Jeep and bought an Airstream, and then traveled around the country talking to people about it.
Do you think that people are looking for something other than the camper van experience?
Less and less people are looking for that big tour bus. Adventure vehicles start to fit that, and of course then they can get to some more fun places too.
How is the experience for the renter?
I have 3 dogs, 5 kids. What should I do? So we do try to educate through the process, but then we see a lot of people that they'll open up the chat and they'll ask my team a quick question.
How does the insurance work? This vehicle is personally insured right now.
There's daily coverage. So very similar to the experience you might have when you've rented a vehicle. That's all based on the value of your vehicle. It is the renter that pays all of that insurance for while they're away. So the owner doesn't have any costs there. We have a platform fee that the renters pay, and then there's a part for the owners as well. And then the owner takes 80% of everything that they earn.
What challenges do you think we're going to face?
Maybe your renter drives away, and 2 hours later you remember that you didn't show them how to do something that's really important on the vehicle. I think that's one piece. And then the other one is just, get to know through our platform the person who's going to rent it. Ask them questions. You can help them to have a better experience. You're not just renting a vehicle, you're actually helping them, as you talked about, to go explore. Jason, thanks so much. Good luck there, guys. Excited to see the final product.
All right, see you later.
Cheers.
The tray for the battery box is in. I'm putting a bracket here on the back, so tighten those guys down. Couple pieces to put together, and then we're gonna start probably making some terminal ends and running some wire along the firewall here to keep this electrical project moving. That is the nice thing about the Odyssey battery is it does have a handle. So we bought the 34R, which is polarity reverse, so positive will be closer to the other battery, and we could just ground straight to the body here, to the chassis. So we're gonna put the air box back in, and we're gonna be done here. And I think we're gonna go grab some beer and food for dinner.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll catch you later. We are going to get a little creative with where we put this. This is a REDARC BCDC charger that's gonna allow us to integrate solar from the Sunflare solar panels on top of the tent that we're going to be installing, and also manage the power distribution and charging under the hood for both batteries. But we've got all of our terminal ends and all of our fuses. We got some fuses here from REDARC as well. This is a fun little piece here. This is actually kind of a pre-designed accessory switch mount. We've got lots of wire to run, and we're going to start on that first because we feel like we can kind of motor on with suspension and stuff like that on Saturday and Sunday. We want to keep it in a position as far away from the engine as possible so it performs at 100% capacity all the time. And so we can actually monitor the performance of it, the charging status and such. But putting it in this location is going to make it nice for us to see. We're going to hopefully be able to squeeze in some fuses on this, but we're going to leave a pocket here for an ARB single compressor at some point in time. We're just not going to do that right now. So far, a smooth day. We got started before 11 o'clock, which is the most impressive thing we've done here so far. I think we were over here at like 9. And we were kind of all a little slow here and there, but we're moving right along. So this has actually turned out really nice, and he's even surprised us with a fun little plug here. What's this plug from?
Oh, that's a Deutsch connector. So that's gonna run.
Deutsch! Ren's kind of designed this so that if we ever want to take, the Goose Gear and the fridge out of here, we can take it out. We're gonna run the wire through the cab, right?
Yeah,
Not
stay inside the body. Just because we're only going from there to the under the hood on the passenger side. I think rack tent will have done this.
rack tent tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
Suspension tomorrow.
Optimistic, but
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Where do we need to go with wiring at this point?
oh,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to run a ground to bridge the two batteries because you're gonna be charging from battery to battery. Otherwise, all that's gonna be going through the chassis. But basically, the yellow on there, I believe, is your solar. Red was starting battery, brown is secondary battery, black is ground. Extend all those leads to run to this battery, that battery. We'll make a plug for the wire that we're gonna run in the back with the solar. We'll kind of just run that solar wire with our wiring for the rear accessories. Okay. So we'll run 3 wires back basically and be set.
So that's where we're going. If any of that made sense to you, we'll try to make a little bit more of it. Should be pretty smooth sailing then on Sunday and hit the road on Monday. We'll see how far we get.
Right now I have the Victory roof rack that we're starting to set up. I'm just laying out all the pieces, making sure everything's here.
You've done this before?
Plenty of times. By that we mean none. One more crossbar left, and then once we kind of measure out where we want each crossbar, we'll start tightening everything down. I'm taking off the factory roof rail so that we can get the Victory rack mounted to the top of this thing. So just trying to be careful not to scratch the truck or break these plastic covers. I'm just making it so everything will stay together but nothing's set in place. So we're gonna grab the rest of the guys and then get this on top of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Forward more? Yep. Okay.
That should be good.
Yeah, it looks good. Nice.
Oh, that's tight. Nice.
Tight fit. Okay, cool. So we'll anchor down these feet, get everything centered up where it needs to be, and then these front feet will actually just rest, right?
Right on the metal either.
So we aren't going to have to drill in here, which is going to be really nice. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We've got some friends here. I think we're going to try to grill out. It's a little cold tonight, but we're going to try to eat something out, drink a couple good beers, and get started first thing in the morning on Sunday. Okay, so Ren is actually working under the hood right now. I've been kind of dedicated to getting all the looming and stuff done, and all electrical fittings and connections crimped, heat shrunk. He's dressing things up a little bit. On top here we have the Victory 4x4 roof rack, and we're going to be mounting an Alu-Cab Gen 310 on top of it with a Sunflare solar panel. In the back, we've got the Goose Gear installed. We've got the fridge installed. Really impressed with the wiring over here that Ren has done to kind of make it accessible and easy for everybody to get to, but very efficient, simple build. Tent tomorrow, awning tomorrow, solar panel, tires. We're going with stock wheels, and we're gonna do the suspension tomorrow as well. Fire this thing up to see if everything works. So it looks like what it's doing right now is it's actually charging that battery. Solar charge status is not active right now. One, because we don't have a solar panel, and two, it's technically dark and it wouldn't really be charging at this point anyway. The pulsing of this LED is indicating what stage of charge it is, cycling through right now. So you can learn a lot more about the BC-DC charger at REDARC. Yeah, nice. So yeah, this is everything's working. We've tested it all out, and go relax a little bit and come back in here tomorrow.
So today we're going to mount the Gen 3 on top of the Victory 4x4 rack. Typically we do an adapter plate, but the bolt pattern's a little bit different than some other roof racks. And it will be tight too. It'll sit really low to the roof, which will be nice. And overall it'll be a super clean install. We just got to figure out how that install is going to take place.
Let's go up on top of the truck and look and see.
So with this raised rail, the Gen 3 will sit on these load bars, but the traditional mounting brackets will interfere as the tent's wider than the rack. So we're probably going to use an L bracket to come off the bottom of the tent that will actually attach to these rails without having to chop the rack or space the tent up much higher than the roof rack already is.
I'm going to be installing a Victory 4x4 MOLLE panel, and I think I'm going to put it over here on the driver's side, and what it's going to do is it's going to kind of expand the storage functionality of this space by putting a couple of little Blue Ridge Overland Gear MOLLE pouches on there and stuff like that, maybe a kitchen kit, so that when people are renting this vehicle and they're driving about, they'll have a couple little options and little pouches to put things in. Start putting this together. I don't think it's going to take very long to get this installed.
So we are going to modify these Alu-Cab brackets to have a second hole that they grab both channels of the extrusion for the roof rack, which will put the tent like maybe at less than a half an inch above the rack.
Okay, well you drill those up, I'll finish up on the window, and then together we'll get this tent installed.
Sounds good.
We're going to have an Alu-Cab tent mounted in the Victory 4x4 roof rack, and we're going to have an Alu-Cab shadow awning mounted to the driver's side. Simple, easy to use, and it's quick. That's the most important part of this. So like I said, we're going to put a sun flare solar panel up on top of this Alu-Cab Gen 3 rooftop tent. Some Sikaflex on the back, have a buddy help you, and roll it out on the top of the tent.
So we're going to drill through the roof and run a 3-wire marine cable, which will power the accessories in the tent and also be our input for the solar. We're going to run it through what's called a skin strut. Your wire passes through here. It's tapered, so when you tighten this, it actually crimps down on the wire and seals it off. We'll install it just like that. Our cable will come out right into the back of the tent, and then our other cable will go to the front of the tent for the solar.
Let's do it.
You got it. That's like cut perfectly for that. I can slide the board out my way. Or if you want to slide the board out, I'll hold it up. Good, watch your hands. Good, get your hand out. Wow, that just clears the antenna as well. Sweet. Damn. I'm pretty impressed with this whole setup.
This is definitely the front. So we're going driver's side awning mount here. I'm just gonna hold mine up while you get yours there, I guess, huh?
The awning has a bunch of holes already pre-drilled in the body. And what you need to do when you mount it is just measure from mounting point to mounting point what set of holes you're gonna be using. I like to run a drill bit in reverse. It cuts a really nice hole in the bag. Once you get everything in, then start tightening them, and you're set. So now it's time for suspension. We've got Bilstein 8112s in the front and 8100s in the back. We're gonna go with the preset preload on the front shocks, and we're gonna be installing the heavy springs in the back
because we've got a lot of constant weight in the back of the vehicle, and we know people are going to be bringing their gear with them too.
Last day.
Last day, we're going to be replacing upper control arms here this morning, and we're going to be replacing the coilovers. All right, on the back, medium springs, and then shocks. And this is what we're replacing them with. This is the Bilstein 8112 and 8100 suspension package here. We got a lot of stuff done yesterday. We got a lot of stuff left to do today.
The joys of cam bolts actually coming loose on an older truck. We have trucks that are, 1, 2 years old that are completely seized, but when we take them apart, we'll anti-seize all this hardware so that it comes apart in the future, but they're not anti-seized from the factory. So if you don't touch it for basically 2 years in the Northeast, it's gonna be completely seized where you almost need to torch or cut the control arm bolts out, which is a costly procedure.
You think that's generally a misstep that most people make when they're putting suspension back together? Or?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, because the next person that has to work on it, they're not thinking about that person.
The driver's side is going to be preloaded more than the passenger side because the fuel tank's on the driver's side of the truck, which is going to give us about a 2.5-inch lift. We've got a little bit taller spring in the back too. There's a few steps. It'll be pretty straightforward.
Balancing act. Wrapping it up. SPCs are in. Coilover's in. Just got to tighten the reservoir clamp, torque down the upper SPC, put back some trimmings, but yeah, almost done on this side.
Yeah, we're using a little bit of tape on here, like Rin was telling me earlier, because this white etching on here will just loves dirty gloves. Okay, so to kind of think of everything here, we've got an anti-rotation pin to keep from rotating your hose or your reservoir, into the tire in case the shock does rotate, but also assists in actually helping break things apart and tighten things down. It's going to be a lot easier to remove the shock after about 100,000 miles. Well, what do you think, Rin?
Race car suspension on an everyday driver?
A race car suspension on an everyday driver, that is right. He actually paint marks a lot of the bolts when they do stuff up here. If things need to be tightened down after a few thousand miles, 10,000 miles or so, you can just easily go back underneath and kind of look and eyeball each of these paint marks to see if anything's backed off. We've had a lot of experience with other tire manufacturers, but it was time to switch things up and to see what else was on the market. But we're going to be putting Toyo Tire Open Country AT3s on the stock 4Runner trail wheels. Installing a heavier tire like a 285, I feel like it's going to drag the vehicle down a little bit, and since we're not doing gear swaps in the 4Runner at this point in time, we wanted to retain as much power as we could. So we wanted to install a 33-inch tire on this trail 4Runner, but we didn't have time to chop cab mounts and modify body panels and cut fenders. So we went with a 255/80/17. This is going to allow for good mileage on the road. If anybody had to air down for traction, it's going to give a nice long tread pattern with lots of contact. So all said, I was actually averaging 18 miles per gallon on the way home from New Jersey to get back here to the garage in West Virginia. I think we're going to be happy with the performance. It's an all-terrain tire. It was time to change and try something else. There are a lot of tires on the market, and the tread pattern on this Open Country looks like it's going to last quite a while. Handle anything we need to accomplish or tackle in West Virginia or beyond. Get them mounted up here, get this thing aligned, and we'll be done. Looks good. I think it's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice ride. So we've got the suspension mounted, we've got the tires mounted, we've got the rooftop tent, the awning, the Goose Gear storage, the fridge, the dual battery system, and the solar panel all taken care of. Now it's time to go get this thing aligned and head on back to West Virginia. We've got some accessories that we'll be including with the vehicle when people rent this, and to sweeten the deal, we've actually stored some of our favorite campsites in West Virginia in the factory GPS. So if you want to learn more about this 4Runner and potentially book it for your vacation, there's a link below in the description, or click this card up top. So on behalf of my team, my family, and all of our friends at Open OK 4-Wheel Drive, this has been another epic Built for Adventure with Mountain State Overland.
But I ain't complaining and I damn sure ain't too proud. I'll just to say I need some help, mama, yeah, just to get me through. Need a little bit of help, mama, that's why I'm calling on you. And now you're strutting, telling everyone to bow to the queen. Oh yeah, you got the best of me and that's alright. Ooh, you got the best of me and I'll be fine. Just sit tight. My love's ignited, I'm on fire tonight, alright. So won't you carry me? Won't you carry me? Won't you carry me? Carry me through.
Holy shit, you scared the f*** out of me. Ah, sorry. Holy. Ah, it's the f***ing robots are coming. Holy shit.